Today we'll be taking World Civilization didn't start in the Middle East. We did one where basically Asia became pretty powerful. Europe still was pretty powerful, but not as powerful as Asia was. But this will not be the focus. Asia will not be the focus of this one. This one is now Europe. What if civilization started in Europe? So we know civilization started around this little area right here. But in this timeline, civilization does not arise here first. It arises first in Europe. So where are we going to be starting civilization in Europe? Well, we're going to be starting it in France. And I might do one for every continent eventually, but we're doing Europe first because we want to make Europe important. So the first civilization in Europe appears in France, and they start to basically colonize a lot of this little area here as well. There's also another, I think there's a river like in Germany too, so there's like one that parts around this river, and there's horses and cows and stuff, so the first civilization start here. This is the first Germanic and French civilization. We're using we're using like the modern day countries to refer to, so it's like Belgium, Switzerland, Austria, Danish as well, and the French country starts to expand further south here, and this is a pretty big and important country. Okay, so it is kind of shocking that civilization didn't start way earlier in Europe. It took 300 years. It took Greece to really start civilization in Europe, but we're starting way early in Europe. So it's gonna be like how it is in our timeline. It's gonna take a while to reach the Middle East and Asia as well. So I think we're still gonna have Asian civilizations, but this is where civilization started in Europe. So this country also starts to create a bigger border up here to also create a border with the Swiss Alps here. So here, and the first countries in Europe exist. So this is I think we're gonna use like the actual colors they use for like this is France and this is Germany as well. We're gonna use red for England. England's not here yet, but another civilization starts down here. There's another French civilization that starts down here where Lyon is. They expand into Italy as well. There's no wars yet because there's no countries bordering each other yet, so. And then we have a Dutch civilization popping up as well here, giving the Dutch a country as well. But the Dutch country invades the French country. As basically at this time, there was not really much of diplomacy, so the French civilization is basically invaded relatively quickly by the Dutch country. The Dutch country defeats the French country, and the peace treaty is done, and the French country is taken over. The Dutch country further expands down to the mountains here, to these Iberian mountains here. So, actually, forgot the name of the mountains. Cascades is in North America. I think it's Pyrenees. That's what the mountain is called. So the Pyrenees Mountains, the French country, the Dutch country. But however, the Dutch country is very, very, very unstable. They own too much land for this early, and it's the first ever empire as well. And I think there's also this southern German civilization too, as well. However, this Dutch country is very, very, very unstable, and they lose a lot of this land as and they mostly control France, and the French country is now officially independent again. So the French country is an independent country again. And the German country, they continue to expand into Europe, but they mostly control, I think, parts of Czech Republic, parts of Germany, a small bit of Switzerland, but it's mostly like southern Germany they control. I think France's border goes like this. Yeah, and also they control a bit of Austria and a bit of Czechia. And no, they don't control any part of Poland yet. But yeah, that's the German civilization here. They actually they do lose some land to some barbarians here, pushing the civilization back a little bit as well. A northern German civilization is created. This is kind of like a Prussia civilization. So they are put up here. Yeah, we're calling the civilization Prussia. They are all the way up here. I think yeah, I know this is like up here like Prussia because of EU4. And the southern portion can be like Bavaria. Yeah. Meanwhile, Iberia there's no really civilizations yet. However, on the southern portion of France, there is a small civilization down here. They were created and founded after the king wanted to unite all the tribal people down here. And this is how civilization is starting out so far. So civilization is being pretty successful so far. So this is what they know, what the world looks like. They know of the Danish peninsula. They don't know of these islands. They only know like the southern portion of the Danish peninsula. So this is what they know of right now. Not very much. They do know there's land beyond these mountains. They do know there's like land down here. And they do know that there is land down here, but no one owns it. Basically, the world is super small. Okay, this is what we're really focused on right now. This is the whole world here, and literally, civilization starts in Europe instead of the Middle East, like in real life. World War II was like the standard of civilization starting over the Middle East. We already did it with the Asia one. Well, Asia started here, but yeah, we'll be giving the countries names. So yeah, basically this is like a France nation. This is a Lyon. This is like a Basque, I think. Yeah. Yeah, but exploration is gonna continue into Iberia, and they discover the Catalan coast. Yeah, this country doesn't really want to settle beyond the mountains because as of now, this is not a very easy thing to do. Same thing with settling in the Alps here. The Swiss Alps is not very feasible as of now. And also, they have not discovered the Italian peninsula or the Balkans yet. So, not even all of Europe has been discovered yet. So, or Britain. Britain hasn't been discovered yet. But they do send explorations. They do build boats and send explorations out. They do discover the northern coast of Africa. So they think there's like some island here, and they don't colonize at the beginning. They just think, oh, there's like some island here, and that's it. Yeah. Meanwhile, a new country is formed up here in like northern Italy. Yeah, this is where like most of like, Italy's population currently lives. So it's not unreasonable a country appears up here, a civilization appears up here, in northern Italy. Meanwhile, the southern French country starts to expand the borders up north, as going down south is not a very good idea. Meanwhile, a group of settlers do, however, go south. They sent a bunch of settlers to here, and they settled a civilization, little civilization down here. It's like a Catalonia civilization here. And the Cattle Warrior civilization will continue to explore most of the coastal land here. They will continue to explore more of Iberia here. And yeah, they don't know about the coast, so yeah, most expeditions are put out to explore this little island here, and they realize that there's a lot of land here, but it's mostly like dry desert here. And the first real colony is put up here. This French country sets up a colony in like northern Algeria here, and they also start to explore Tunisia. Yeah, they discover Tunisia before they discover Italy. They also happen to discover Corsica. I think this is this one. In Sardinia, they discover parts of Sardinia and Corsica. So they start to send colonists there. So this is like the first official colony country here, and they start to expand their country further up north. Yeah, and they start to expand this way as well. Yeah, given the world map right now, yeah, they start to explore into Italian peninsula. Yeah, so Italy has been formally discovered, or at least half of it. They discovered there's this peninsula. This is the first time they've really discovered a peninsula. So they start to expand. This southern French country starts to expand further into Italy, and here, and this is basically what they do. They create the first like Mediterranean country. This is what they create. This is like the first like Mediterranean country as well. I think there is gonna be like a Rome country in the future, but they're gonna conquer this Italian country. So they send troops to the border of this Italian country because they want to control the sea, and they start to conquer this country very quickly, and they are defeated relatively quickly as well. And they control this French country is now a pretty strong country here. So yeah, and they start to move further south into these countries here, and they create the first official they create the second official empire of sorts. The first empire was this Dutch empire, but they collapsed very quickly as they couldn't really hold on to all this land. This is like much more feasible as it is mostly like the same types of people, same ethnicity. They don't really have much cultural difference except for this up here. And now let's give all the countries capitals. Here, this country's capital is around right here. This country's capital is on the coast. No, is in the middle here. That's where the king lives. The capital is like right around Paris here. This country's or Amsterdam. I think Amsterdam is like here. This country's like capital is here, and this country's capital is down here. That because some of the in the early states, the capital is really where the king lives. Okay, except for like the Dutch country, where it's like strategically where it is. But most of it is just where the king was born, and the founding king was born. So basically, that's where the capital is usually most of the time. Also, this country's capital is like right here. So as well, and they start to explore like southern Italy and Sicily. So Sicily has been discovered. Southern Italy has been discovered as well. This country does try to expand a bit more, but they're becoming pretty unstable. They don't want to repeat a mistake like the Dutch nation did as well. The German nation, however, starts to expand further north here, touching borders with the Prussian nation, establishing diplomatic ties with the country. It's the first time countries have diplomatic ties with each other. So yeah, that's it about the series here. And this is what the world looks like. And let's just say 2412 BC. Yeah, this is like 600 years of history already. Because again, at the very beginning of civilization, there isn't really much interesting, the world is, they're like starting to figure out how the world is. By like the 1400s, I expect like the world to know basically like this here, but at the current moment, it is just like it is Western Europe that is only known at this moment. That's just all people know, and basically, I don't know. Yeah, basically this area or this undiscovered area is like there's no one living here, so no one lives in these areas over here. Which means there'll be no like slavery from Africa and stuff because no one lives in Africa besides this upper portion of Algeria and Tunisia, which is controlled by this southern French country. So yeah, that's about this video here. Goodbye.